after identification, bin Laden's body was placed on board the USS Carl Vinson in the North Arabian Sea, and soon thereafter, his body was eased into the water to sink. Now, this burial was done in accordance with Islamic law. Senator Lindsey Graham joins us. Good evening, sir. Obviously, it's beautiful to be out here at this memorial tonight. It's terrible we have this memorial other than to honor the...
Thank you for choosing this place, because it's often overlooked in the 9/11 memory bank. 184 people died here.
Indeed. Well, tonight we have bin Laden, the mastermind behind this. I'm curious, the burial. Do you agree with the decision to quickly dispose of his body at sea in accordance with Islamic law?
You know, this is a big historic event, a good day to celebrate the demise of a bad guy. But I look at it as a historic event. I understand being sensitive to religious needs. Like at Guantanamo Bay, you have a prayer rug, you get a diet consistent with Islamic tradition. That makes us a better nation to do things that our enemy wouldn't do. But disposing of him in 24 hours, maybe that's carrying it a bit too far, because I want to make sure we got all the evidence, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And I won't second guess the administration, but I thought that was a pretty quick disposal of a big piece of evidence in the war on terror.
Well, I'm not so sure how much of a Muslim he was. I mean, in terms of his behavior in mass murders, but that's another whole... I mean,
well, I can assure you this, he was a nightmare for the Islamic religion and the Muslim people. Al-Qaeda's killed more Muslims than anyone else, and isn't it good to hear Muslims across the world say, he doesn't represent our religion, we're glad he's gone?
Yeah, and I guess it does speak highly to us that in spite of his behavior, which is criminal, mass murder, whatever terms we want to use, is that, you know, that we still do that. But as long, I mean, I suppose there'll be conspiracy buffs out there. They're going to think, they're going to have all sorts of theories.
There'll be people who believe that 9/11 was an inside job. There are crazy people out there, but we do need to make sure that this is a historic event, and I was a bit concerned. You know, when we capture somebody, it's about us, not about them. And you made a very good point. The fact that we care about religious sensitivities makes us a stronger nation. But this is an event that I think needs to be well documented. I think we've probably done that.
You know what I'm curious about is that I wonder what message it sends to Al-Qaeda that these brave people inside this building use women to shield themselves. I mean, like, I'm trying to think if I'm like, you know, a member of Al-Qaeda and I think that my leaders out there, you know, putting a woman in front of me. I guess it was not necessarily in front of him, but another man. I mean, what about, how more cowardly can you get?
Well, they are cowards at the end of the day. They attack the most innocent people among us. They randomly kill civilians, and their ideology is a terrible deal for the world at large. So over time we'll beat them. You got to empower moderates. You just can't kill your way to victory. I'm glad bin Laden's dead, somebody will take his place, but in Iraq and Afghanistan there are millions of people who will fight them if we give them the chance.
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Do you believe Pakistan was hiding him or didn't know anything about it?
Well, let's put it this way. It's pretty hard to believe that he stayed there that long and somebody didn't know about it. And we've had this discussion. Why don't they tax the rich? Why don't they help us more in the sanctuaries? It's a mixed bag at best. I'm very disappointed.
Hiding Obama?
Well, let me tell you, that's a different level.
Hiding bin Laden, hiding bin Laden.
That's a different, you know, that's what we need to look at. We need to push the Pakistanis. But it could be worse, believe it or not. You know, I don't know, Greta. Common sense tells you that he's there for a long time. What about Mullah Omar, the head of the Taliban, the guy that took over? I think he's in Pakistan. I think Mullah Omar's in Pakistan. We need to push the Pakistanis and let them know they're either with us or they're not, and I hope they will change their ways.
Senator, nice to see you, sir.
God bless.
Coming up.